Hi folks, Melissa Ruther here from the Wisconsin K-12 Energy Education Program, or KEEP. Thank you for joining us at Boston School Forest during this wonderful snowy day. Today, during our Energy Outdoors topic, we are going to be doing a breeze of an activity. We're going to be looking at wind scale.
Before we can get started, I would like to recognize that Boston School Forest occupies lands of the First Nations. With a passion for connecting people to their natural and cultural resources, I would like for us to take a moment and appreciate the land I'm on here at Boston School Forest, but also the lands on which you live, and celebrate and honor the original people who stewarded this land for generations. Thank you.
When it comes to energy, we have two different types of sources. We have non-renewable energy sources and renewable energy sources. So what are those? Non-renewables it's a resource that isn't going to replenish during our lifetime. So a few examples of that might be propane, oil, or coal. Now there are other examples, but those are just a few. When it comes to renewable energy sources, these are things we can use over and over and over again. And a few examples of those types of resources would be hydropower or using water, solar or the sun, and wind. Today we're going to focus on wind energy, specifically wind velocity, or how fast the wind blows.
Wind is simply air in motion. It occurs when the sun unevenly heats the earth. The warm land warms the air above it. That warm air rises. All of the cool air falls. This motion, warm air rising, cool air falling, creates wind, as you can see here. How fast the wind blows, or wind velocity, is measured on a scale from 0 to 12. This is known as the Beaufort Scale. It was developed by Sir Francis Beaufort in the early 1800s. It was developed to help sailors estimate winds just using visual observations. Here you can see the Beaufort Scale that I've grabbed from the National Weather Service. You can see the force, that 0 to 12 scale, the speed of the winds, a description, and then those specifications. What makes a wind this particular description or this force for the sea and on land? So, for example, we might have a near gale on 7, so force 7, and the sea heaps up and white foam from breaking waves begins to blow in streaks along the direction of the wind. On land, whole trees in motion, inconvenience felt when walking against the wind. Here we can see a wind scale chart that you can find in KEEP activities. This one is a little bit simpler, right? We can simply see what does that wind level look like and what are some of those signs. Is it calm, meaning smoke might be going up, a gentle breeze, leaves rustling, etc. You can also have a scale that looks something like this. This is the scale you can see on the Boston School Forest activity. Here you can see the miles per hour, a description, and this is all using a pillowcase, which we'll be doing today.
So to explore just how fast the wind is blowing, we're going to need a couple of things for this activity. First, we're going to need a pillowcase. We're also going to need a copy of that Beaufort Scale. Do we actually need a printed copy? No, but if you're not going to bring a copy with you outdoors, I would love for you to look at it before you go outside so you know what you're looking for. Last but certainly not least, you're going to need a big open space. You want an area that's not obstructed or blocking the wind from coming through. So you don't want any trees to be in your way, you don't want any buildings to be in your way. So again, pillowcase, your Beaufort Scale, and a wonderful space. So to test our wind velocity, what we want to do is grab your pillowcase and hold it up like a flag. Do you see any movement? It doesn't really look like we have a lot of wind action going on right now. So what you want to do is look at your scale, and I'm going to go ahead and say it's not a fresh breeze. The pillowcase would have been rippling in the wind, so it's got to be lower than 19 miles an hour. So let's see, pillowcase extends. No, not a gentle breeze. I think it's light air. So the pillowcase hangs limp and no leaves are moving and I can't feel the wind on my face. This means that the wind is going about 1 to 3 miles an hour. So again, let's look at that just to double check. So as we're holding it up, my pillowcase really isn't going anywhere. So I think that we did a great job on this one. So this one we're going to call light air.
Now that we know how to tell how fast the wind is going, we can look and see why this is important to us. The wind does a lot of work for us in a variety of ways. First, it can help keep us cool on a hot summer day. It can help us dry our clothes while they're out on a line. It can help us fly a kite up in the air. And it helps move along your boat while you're out sailing. Another big thing the wind can do for us is create electricity. Finding a suitable place for a wind turbine, or what is creating that electricity, is extremely important, and how much wind you get is very important to placing it. Here's a map of the United States with average wind speeds at 30 meters above sea level. You can see in the center of the country, or that Great Plains region, that wind speed is pretty high. It's a great place to harvest wind power, wind energy. But don't count Wisconsin out just yet. Here is a map of Wisconsin. We actually do have wind farms here in Wisconsin as well. These wind farms have turbines on them. So how do these turbines on these wind farms help produce electricity? When the wind blows past a wind turbine, its blades capture the wind's energy and rotate. The rotation turns a shaft connected to a gearbox, which spins a generator that produces electricity. Then electricity can make it to our homes. So as you can see, the wind does a lot of really cool, important stuff for us. It might help us stay cool. It might help us dry our clothes or fill our sailing boat's sails. It might help us fly a kite and even create electricity.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Boston School Forest. We did a lot of exploring the wind today. We looked at what renewable and non-renewable energy resources are. We looked at wind velocity using the Beaufort Scale. And then we also looked at how we use the wind to do work. So now I hope this encourages you to go out and check out just how fast the wind is blowing on other days. Thank you again for joining us and have a wonderful day.